and I just got off of work not too long ago, so I thought I would get on here and start chilling. Uh, you don't have anything in particular to talk about? Guess I could talk about. Um, been having conversations with Porcupine Jason about type, um, the differences between SEE, LSE, a few other types. Conversation about the theory of socionics, personality theory, some of the pros and cons of personality theory, and honestly just uh model theories that are models of reality. um they work as explanations for things that are real. Sometimes you have good evidence for the things that you for the model that you represent or that you're interested in. Other times you don't, and this kind of comes down to uh this is kind of baked into any theory. Anything that pertains to a model, uh, just it's supposed to represent what's actually going on in the real world, how things work, how things function, why they function the way they do, and models represent that information uh, with varying degrees of success. Personality theory is no different in that regard. But yeah, I mean, some of our conversations, me and Jason's conversations, have been about you know discrepancies within type profiles and all this kind of stuff, which um there's so many different type descriptions from different websites that you can get and read, and you have some that are good, you have some that suck. That's just the reality of it. You pick the ones that are good, you stick with it. And that's kind of what I've done. I mean, with certain type descriptions, not even really type descriptions necessarily, but just based on the theory how the type is functions. What's up? What's up? And being able to see this in people, just going straight from what the theory suggests about the type and how you should see their elements and functions operate in the real world, and then actually try to look for signals of this happening in real people, and then testing against it. Testing being you just ask them questions about why they do what they do, what their rationale is for doing the things that they're doing. They kind of correlate it with certain functions. Um, and you're not going to get a perfect what's happening. 28 people flood my alive. Again, this gets down to my bot suspicion. um, but yeah, I mean, type descriptions. You have to ask the question: what's the value of a type description? It just gives you a basic overview of the type. Bro, bro, it's gay. Bro, it's gay. um, yeah, they're supposed to be kind of are supposed to be more in depth than others. That's you need both. You need a quick summary of a type for variety of reasons. Maybe you're trying to introduce the type profiles to people in a quick amount of time, and you want to give them the general concept of what you can use to elaborate further. But if you're into more good, I'm gay too. Interesting. Alrighty. Start. It is that month. It's your month, brother. It's your month, brother, and it's kind of half my month, Juneteenth. Um, what else was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Um, or more in depth type descriptions. I feel like it should be a sweet spot between a long form type description and a short form, because sometimes longer isn't better. I've read really extensive type descriptions that took a while to say anything of substance. and or there's a translation issue, and the wording is kind of strange. And so just Jesus loves you, man. Thanks. You too, brother. Um. Uh. So just because you have a long article kind of type description doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good one. I've seen really concise type descriptions, and they're DJ Granville. You, it's gay? No, brother, it's your month, not mine. It's half of my month because Juneteenth, right? Not for the homosexuality. I'm talking about the Juneteenth because I'm mixed. So, uh, um, losing my train of thought. Doesn't take much. Um, it's June 23rd, by the way. Juneteenth. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's June. You get my point. It's gay. You, it's gay. Yeah, Juneteenth was what, last week, last Friday, of which I did not get off because I was not. I guess I wasn't black enough. Basically, I wasn't dark enough. Wasn't dark enough to get the day. A lot of whites got the day off though. Interesting how that works. Just playing. All jokes. All jokes, people. Uh, what was I saying? Oh, God bless you. I'm gonna go see you. Go see you. Okay. God bless you too, brother. Get back on track, bro. Yeah, so some type descriptions I've read that are that are short and they've been great. I've read other ones that aren't short and they've been mid at best. Some are good, some aren't. You kind of get you need to have the full variety of different kinds of type descriptions because they scratch a very particular itch. Sometimes you need long form, sometimes you need short form, sometimes you need just different ways of representing information. I don't, in principle, I have no problem with that. I don't think that there's necessarily a problem because there isn't one composite type description. There isn't basically just one description of a type. There's many different. You can go Wikisocion. You can go on WSS's website. They have articles of every type. You can go on socionics dot sociotype dot something. I mean, there's many different websites. There's Open Socionics. I would definitely recommend that one. OpenSocionics.org, I think. Just type in Google Open Socionics and it's great. The type descriptions are not long form. They're pretty concise for the most part, maybe medium length, but they're really good. They're pretty detailed, but again, they're not bogging you down by a bunch of STFU. Okay, someone needs a hug. It's okay, brother. That's a little aggressive. Why so aggressive? Coke Zero, if anybody wondered. No one wondered, but I thought I would inform you. Um, so yeah, man, I think having options and different profiles, type profiles is good. Having different websites, different tests, I don't think that's a problem. Um, in theory, the more that you have, you can kind of select which one's better because you have something to base it off of. Um, so I don't find that there's an overwhelming uh collection of bad type profiles. I haven't really seen, I mean, I've read a bunch of type profiles, but bust out the guitar and start playing the solo from Freebird. Freebird. That's very funny. That's a very funny request. I actually don't know how to play Freebird. I'm pretty sure it's or Thunderstruck. Doom 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 doom. Got the bird, fucking friends, I'm the free from. That's yeah, that is Thunderstruck. Free from no, wait. Sleep with one eye open, ripping and love's time. Yes, it's night. Mm-mm. Take my hand off to never, never land. That's actually not. Isn't that am I tripping? No. I know it. Thunderstruck. Yeah, yeah, it's a different song. What am I singing? Sleep with Oh, I'm singing Enter the Sandman. Yeah, I'm stupid, sorry. My sincerest apologies. Um Off to never, never land. I practiced on electric guitar for a grand total of I did it pretty consistently for uh, like a month or two, and I just takes a lot of practice to get electric guitar because you're not playing just chords. Obviously, you kind of move up and down the neck, and takes a lot of practice. Acoustics pretty easy for the most part, but yeah, we got three guitars on the wall. I just hung this one up yesterday or a couple days ago. Off to never, never land. So, uh, yeah, but Open Socionics, you can go to that website. It's pretty good. But overall, I don't find that most of the type profiles are bad. I find some that are, and I find others that aren't. I would say collectively, it's good enough for you to have a decent idea of what the type is about and how the type works and how to recognize types. We were talking about this too. This is a classic debate over why SC is coined the term force. I've concluded this probably 2+ years ago. Um, that it's unavoidable. We get into real semantics when we start quibbling over whether SC is primarily about force or not, or if you should even call SE force. However, you reduce it, it comes down to an adjective that's virtually identical with force. That's what I've concluded. You can say impact, you can say volition, you can say you could say a lot of different things. They all reduce to someone having um, uh, impact on their environment, and it's confrontational, and it's everything you think about with force. All the other adjectives, it's a yeah. I mean, um, kind of. I mean, that's basically the same thing of quibbling over why any is given the term potential. You're like, well, that's what it is. At the end of the day, what's an idea? It's something that's abstract. It's something that is possible, um, right? Whatever. You can't really get out of it. So I I explored that idea or like that conversation about whether SE should be called force or not, and I kind of come to my own conclusion that you can't get it. It's inescapable. So now there's no way out of it. Now, not all people who are SE bases have the same level of impact because there's a link to action with that, meaning some people um, exercise greater impact because they're in a more they have higher status. Okay, well, if you take a guy who is a CEO of his company, he's an SEE or SLE, versus a guy who's an employee at that company who's also an SLE, which one has greater impact or greater use of force? Okay, well, in a local sense, they're using force. They're both using force. They're both four dimensional at using force, but relative to their environments of the way in the place that they're actually applying that force, that's going to be a huge difference because of their relative uh position on the totem pole. Um that doesn't mean that one's an SLE and the other isn't. It just means that one's an SLE in a higher zone of impact and influence and another one is. And that can be the explanation as of why someone seems maybe more typically an SLE, or because you have their actual environment that they are that's broad, like being a CEO. Your your actions as a CEO extend a lot further than uh an employee's, because he doesn't have the same range of opportunity and resources. So obviously you can only extend force out so far if you don't have the resources to do so. You're still forceful, you're still impacting your environment, you're still impacting uh you know processes at work or client. No. Why? Stop. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down. Hey, stop barking, bro. Shh. No. Go lay down. Go lay down. You have no reason to bark. Go lay down. Um, uh, go lay down, brother. Go lay down. You're fine, homie. Uh, so um, yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair explanation. Some people might disagree. That's fine. Nevertheless, both the CEO SLE and the employee SLE, they're both using force. Like that's just what they're doing. Um, so um, yeah. What else? There's something else I was going to comment on. Yeah, it's just best not to get hung up on these little minute details and irrelevancies with type theory. Stop barking, bro. Um, Irrelevancies with type theory, because I just don't find them to be productive. They don't really help. It's always great if you want to write a type profile to be thorough and to really get the type accurately. Obviously, that's a good thing to do. If you're in a typing session, it's good to ask good questions. It's good to have other people in if you can. None of those things are bad things. At some level, though, you have to just concede that you're not going to have um, 100% accuracy. It's not feasible. It's kind of pointless to even pursue that. Um, so that's my 2 cents in it. Uh, can you stop, bro? Go. Come on. Go lay down. Lay down. Of course, dude. Never fails. No. Lay down. Lay down. Calm your ass down, dude. You're fine. There ain't nothing there for you to be barking. Bro, where are you from, man? I'm from Ohio. You're fine, cuz. Stop. What are you barking at? There's nothing to bark at. You're fine. Stop. Or you're gonna stay in here. I'm gonna go outside. You get to choose, cuz. Um, sh- no. So I think he's from Ohio too. Do you know Isho Speed? I mean, I know of him. Yeah, he is. He's actually 25 minutes. Like the school he went to is like 25 minutes away from me. He went to Purcell Marion, pretty sure, which is legit like 25 minutes from me. He's a crackhead. Uh, he's also probably an SCE. He's either an SCE or an ESE, something like that. Probably. He might be an ESE. Bro, do you hit the gym? I have not hit the gym in a long time. I'm getting chunky. I'm getting ready to get back to it though. I'm bringing my weights over and to move in our basement because I'm getting into HVAC because you should hit the gym. You have a good build. I don't have a great. I mean, I used to be in really good shape like 5 years, 4 years ago, but I'm definitely way too big right now, too heavy. So I need to get back into it, and I got to get physically prepared for my new career path, HVAC, which is a lot of freaking like heavy lifting, which I'm used to at FedEx, but sometimes you got to haul up units just by rigging it up. Uh, you have to bring them on the rooftop, and if you don't have a crane or a lift, well, you better tie that buddy up and pull him up. So, exit hot addicts suck. Yeah, they do. Thankfully, I won't be in a lot of attics because I'm doing commercial HVAC. That's more usually more residential, I think. I'm more on rooftops, which also are hot, obviously. So, but yeah, I do. I've heard a lot of the commercial guys don't want to do residential. If they have, they don't want to go back to it because you have to deal with people, you have to deal with being in crawl spaces and hot attics. You have to deal with customers who are annoying and don't know how to articulate the problem with their system. Order than me, give me a piece of advice from your life experience. Uh, a piece of advice. That's a good question. Hmm. Let me think about that. Try different things. It's good to try different things. Challenge yourself and give you some stereotypical advice, but learn as much as you can. Get as much experience as you can. Time moves very, very fast. Make the most of the time that you have. These are all hallmark. Trust in Christ. That's the ultimate advice. Turn to Christ. Yes, sir. I'm not a very good advice giver, but that's what I would say. I probably am more than you though. I'm getting up there. Is it? I mean, trying different things costs money. Changing things don't give financial stability though. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. Um, wherever you're at now, there's plenty of opportunity to learn something that you didn't know before. There's plenty of opportunity to talk to somebody who knows things that you don't know now. There's plenty of opportunity to uh relatively cheaply you can get into learning a skill, um which I'd like to do that a lot more than I am learning a skill for my job, but just other hands-on skills that I didn't learn growing up. I think that stuff is extremely valuable. I mean, being able to have some kind of skilled uh some skills that you can offer to people who don't have those skills. I mean, you bring a lot of value to people, like practical value, which is a great thing to be able to do. When shit hits the fan and your plumbing goes out, or uh, you need some wiring done or electrical work done, or your HVAC goes out, or your car breaks down, or you need a new deck, whatever. Being able to do one of those things well is extremely. valuable. That's one thing that kind of led me into HVAC. I wish I would have learned some of those skills growing up, which I think I had a natural desire to. I just never my dad does did stuff with his hands kinda, didn't really teach me. Um, I don't think there's anything in terms of skill acquisition, sports, yeah, there's some character building stuff, camaraderie and all that kind of stuff that's good for development, but being able to fix something, being able to problem solve, being able to provide that for your family, people don't know how good they have it until you don't know someone like that and you're like, "Dang, I wish I could do that," or "I wish I knew someone that could do that because I can't do it." And it's like, yeah, then you actually see how valuable that skill is, whatever it is. Like, thankfully, one day my family, at the very least, they don't have to worry about not having running or working a working air conditioner, like or furnace or whatever. It's like, thankfully, um, I'll be able to do that, which is awesome. So you can always learn things. There's a lot of people. Um, YouTube University. There are starter toolkits that you can get until everyone asks you to do it for free. That is true, and I've heard that a lot. Actually, my journeyman today was telling me about this side work that he's doing when he gets off, and he's always doing side work. And he told me, I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm able to do that. He said, you say that now until you also have so much side work that you can't really do it because you have normal work and then you have all these side jobs that you're trying to complete and it just builds up. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's a good problem to have because that means you're constantly in front of making money. You have all the opportunity to be able to make money doing something you're very good at. That's not really a problem. If you have to tell people no, okay. I mean, but doing it for free, yeah, that would be kind of annoying. um, I think at the very least, I mean, I'm not paying for parts if I'm doing service to someone's AC. It's like, well, you're gonna have to buy it, obviously. And if you want to pay me in beer or pizza or whatever, gas money, depending on who it is, like direct family, it would be like, don't worry about it. I mean, you're still paying for the parts, which I can get a discount um, at a supply house, thankfully. But uh, it's like, but if you're like a friend of a friend, yeah, bro, I'm charging you. Yeah, once you have enough side work, you should open your own thing. It's more work, but worth it. A lot of skilled HVAC guys end up no, not wanting their own company. Not sure why. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the HVAC guys I've talked to, um, they just like getting their hands dirty. I mean, my instructor at the union training center, you can tell he itches to get back in the field, and he's teaching HVAC and he's pretty good at it, but um, some people are just not built for being in an office and doing the business side of it because you could be a great technician but not know how to sell for crap or how to talk to people for that matter. So I've heard that. I don't know what that'll look like long term just because I mean I'm older and I got into the trades a lot. uh I'm not old, but there are some dudes that get into it straight out of high school. They're 18, 19, and they're journeymen that are my age. So I don't know how feasible that is, at least initially, but uh, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And it's actually fairly cheap through our union to open up your own HVAC business. It's like 90 grand, which is pretty solid. But yeah, and I might do. Um, I don't think I'll ever actually switch to residential, but working on a residential unit, from what I've heard and I've seen, is way easier. I mean, commercial units like rooftop units are, bruh, there are wires coming in and out of every orifice of that freaking unit. and it's just way, way more complicated. But I don't know if I'd say way more complicated. It's bit they're I mean, a residential and commercial unit have obviously all the same components. But commercial units are just a lot bigger, hold a lot more refrigerant. There's a lot more wires and controls and all that kind of stuff, but and higher voltage. So a lot more dangerous, or more dangerous. I don't know if I'd say a lot more, but so I mean, getting shocked with 120 volts electricity can still put you down a little bit. 460, yeah, well, yeah, that's really not fun. Thankfully, I'm on my second week, so hopefully it'll be a while before that happens. It's actually kind of funny. This is not funny, but I've had two journeymen so far who've almost got arced on like 3 times in a week and a half, and I'm like, okay, well, that's that's something else. Electrical work. How's married life? It's great, bro. It's been awesome. I am very freshly married. Got back from my honeymoon. Our honeymoon, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So it's been great. A whole bunch changed pretty quickly. My wife, I almost said my fiance, she started her career. She left Chick-fil-A a while ago. Well, not a while. It's been like 3 to 3 months, and she's in a new career. I'm in a new career, so kind of cool to start something new with her. And we both have a bunch of stories so far. She's a probation officer, so she has a lot. Well, I we both will have crazy stories, but um, she has crazy stories being a probation officer. Obviously, are Christians. If she works at Chick-fil-A, I told you, yeah, we are we are Christian. Christian, yeah, it was great. She hated it. She really did not like Chick-fil-A. I selfishly enjoyed her working at Chick-fil-A for obvious reasons, which is why I'm probably like 220 right now. Um, but yeah, she was there for a while and just got tired of it. She's not really the uh fast food kind of long-term person. So, yeah, we are. We're very, very Christian, mate. Yeah. But it was dope though. Went to Punta Cana for our honeymoon, and I got the worst sunburn of my entire life. The UV was at 11 the entire week, and I got legit second degree burns in my shoulder. It was like blistering, and it was crazy. Well worth it though. I am recovering still. My shoulders look interesting, but they're mostly healed. My skin stopped peeling like uh late last week. So that was fun. But yeah, it's been good. Been watching our my in-laws dog this week while they're on vacation. I like peeling off the skin. Yeah, I did too until I mean the all the way down your bicep, and you're like, this is peeling too far down. Um and then you expose a deeper layer of skin that when you touch it or you rub it on your, if you're going to sleep, it touches your bed and it burns, and you're like, this is probably why they tell you to let it fall off in the shower instead of peeling it. I mean, I looked like I was shedding, like I was legitimately shedding skin. It was crazy. So, um, yeah, it was fun though. They had a swim up bar at Punta Cana, and it was very, very, very nice. It opened at like 9:30, and you're like, normally I wouldn't be pounding beers at 9:30. However, under the very rare occasion like this, I might make an exception. And I made a few exceptions. It was nice. Yeah. It was hot as hell, dude. It was so hot. Like the actual temperature wasn't that bad. It was just the UV. Like if you're in the directly in the sun for more than 5 minutes, you're just cooking. Oh, the UV was 11. I didn't even know it went that high. It is it was insane. So it was bad because I got so sunburned. I had to get a swim shirt, and I was the swim shirt guy in the pool. But I did a bunch of research on polyester and how it blocks UV, and I was like, fascinating. So at least next time, I could just put on sunscreen. I heard many people tell me that. And I was like, yeah, but you're still gonna get somewhat burnt with sunscreen. That's been my experience. You got to reapply it and do all this stuff. Swim shirt really easy. You buy one, or if you have one, you just throw it on. If it's polyester, you're straight. You're fine. Completely fine. You will get made fun of for being the guy in the pool with the shirt on. Who cares? Be that guy. Embrace it. Because you will also be the guy who's not burnt. So let the fools burn. Let the fools with no shirts on and no sunscreen have their skin peeled by the excessive amount of UV. Would you want to have a conversation for YouTube about some of the philosophical and typology topics one day? Yeah, I'm down whenever, bro. I'm always down for that. I was thinking about having Jason on too. Porcupine Jason. We've been going back and forth on Discord. Yeah. Uh um so I'm always down to have conversations about honestly anything. Anything that I can talk on. I can talk on a decent amount of stuff. Um but yeah, philosophical, I'd be down. I haven't it's kind of funny not my opinion on philosophy has changed, but I used to get I mean I read a bunch of um I haven't read super consistently recently, but uh like books on philosophy, Christian philosophy, uh Christian apologetics. All right, how can I contact you? um that's a good question. I think I have my um let me figure that out. Well, I'm trying to think. Go on. I don't know if you have a Discord. Um, if you do, that's probably the best way to contact me. Because I was gonna put my email in here, and I low key think my email is in my profile. But I also don't want everybody to have it. So you could check there too. Okay. Let me. I'm gonna get my Discord handle, and we could always VC too, man. I get Discord because I want to spurg with people. I want to spurg out and have conversation. And I've noticed that not many people want to spurg out. Not many people want to have conversation. Like good conversations. Like let's get in. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about political philosophy. Let's talk about philosophy in general. Let's talk about religion. Let's talk about apologetics. Let's talk. No one. People don't want to have conversations. They love to type, but they don't love to get on VC. I don't know what it is. It's so annoying. So I will be on Discord. Um, you will notice me on Discord, which basically means that there are conversations happening, like VCs. If there aren't, I usually get off of Discord for months. So I'm like, there's no point. Or I'll get on lives and I kind of bounce around. But you can always reach me. Because I'm always willing to talk literally about whatever. I'm gonna find my Discord handle because I don't remember. I know it's DJ something. Hopefully my laptop does not die. Yeah, dude. Oh, I am logged in. Look at that. Okay. Go to my profile, you slow freaking computer. Okay, so I could probably. I will do. This is. I'm putting this as my. I'm asking a question. Um, and I'm just doing this to. I don't know how to put. Okay, give me a second. I'm posting my Discord handle in the form of a question on here because I don't know actually how to put it in the thing. 02653. Done. I don't even know if this will work. Can you see this? Let me know if you can see this. Okay, yeah, just write that down. That's my Discord. I'm low key checking it all the time. So I'll probably answer your request pretty quickly. Let me know when you got that down. Here, uh, cancel. Okay, gone. But yeah, yeah, I'd always be down to get on and have a conversation about whatever. Let's. This dog's getting ready to bark again. Bruh, can you chill out? They're just cars passing, bro. Oh, look, you hate when dogs do that. So, but yeah, back to what I was talking about before. Uh, Type profiles are what they are. Some are good, some aren't. People who type, some are good, some aren't. But they're going off of what you're telling them, and that's also why like the Jack gives a follow up because um, if the person has questions about the type they got, they can reconcile it in the follow up, or if Jack feels like, hey, this person seems to be a different type than I thought, and it only came up after or in the follow up, then you have that available to make revisions if necessary. Oh, dude, my allergies are killing me. But yeah, um, I might make more videos on different functions. Possibly, do you think type was easier to notice in the past? Uh, that's an interesting question. I don't. By past, do you mean like just before I had information about socionics, or um, before I even knew about personality theory, or whatever? What do you mean? I think it's. I mean, I think it's easier for me to recognize people's type now because I have more information, and people are less complex. Um, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't think people were ever less complex. Um, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. Like basically, with before you knew about everything you know about personality theory, was it easier to understand what a person's like or whatever? Like now we have presidents with cabinets rather than a single king. Um, hmm. So you're saying if you have a single king, you have one point of reference for everything the king's actually responsible for doing versus a president who has a cabinet with basically a division of labor, and so you might mistake certain actions for being the president's when in reality it's people he's delegated that task for. Maybe if that's what you're asking. Yeah, lower population, less roles. Um, yeah, I mean, the less roles you have, almost the more prominent the archetype is. And so a king seems more kingly when he is completely responsible for the things that he does because there's no one else by default that fits in that category. Yeah, where a president is multifaceted in what he's responsible for doing, and he's just basically the highest form of manager that a country has. And he manages a bunch of different things. Um, manages the economy, manages um, the military, manages in some sense the military, um, strong sense, whatever. Um, but um, yeah, yeah, probably. I mean, the roles were a lot more defined because there's not a lot of people that were occupying them by default, and their behavior was very um, in line with the role. So, court jesters had a very designed and or defined role, and everyone knew who the jester was. So, um, uh, there are certain behaviors from different roles that you can expect because that role is primarily responsible for that action. So a king is very his behavior is pretty what am I saying? I know what a king is. I know this guy's the king because he has the sole responsibility for doing everything for this country and has all these responsibilities, and he's the one unilaterally making these decisions. He has the power uh, to end your life, to um, grant you whatever you want, whatever. He has the complete autonomy and power to do so. So we can kind of expect certain behaviors to derive from that position, being domineering, being maybe impatient, being demanding, um, wanting praise, and so there's interesting social conditioning happening there too, um, about how the general public relates with those roles, um, where it's almost kind of fantastical. I like to type factions now. Each serves a function: government, education, religion, public utilities, etc. Yeah, it's interesting. I've kind of thought about stuff like that as well. Like what a faction or realm of society corresponds to either what element or quadra or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And it was probably easy for people to um there's not a lot of potential in the individual, um, in times that had kings and jesters, for example, because your role, your behavior is going to naturally fit you into some archetype or role. If you're weak and you're scared, you're not going to probably be a warrior. You're not going to be on the front lines. So I'd imagine there are certain people selected for certain roles based upon the behavior they exhibited naturally. So by default, there is no development in a person. It's like you are what you were made to do, and I'm going to place you in that position to do the thing that you were made to do. Um, Whereas in today's world, because you have things like the division of labor and some person in power designating responsibilities to certain people, different individuals, and you have people working cooperatively for a common end, then you have some level of talent development um, in place there, um, where someone could grow into a certain role if they have certain qualities and characteristics that would make them like coachability, for example. If they're a hard worker, if they have some of these traits, then you can condition the behavior that's required of the position. Whereas in medieval times or whatever, that may not have been the case. It may have been something completely different. Like again, you were born for X. I mean, I know uh, Aristotle, I'm pretty sure, had this kind of thinking where people were born as either slaves or masters, and that was just a product of uh, nature. They are what they are by virtue of what they are. Um, and that's a pretty common, um, very, very old school idea. Whereas 21st century postmodern thought that says, um, well, says a lot. You can be whatever you want to be, including something that contradicts what you are by nature. So it's basically the self is some abstract thing that doesn't comport necessarily with your actual physical body, for example, you know, which is uh, very confusing. I can be in a human body, but my true self can say that I'm a dog. And you're like, huh, it's interesting. I don't know how that operates, how it works, but yeah, yeah. I've gotten into that kind of realm of philosophy. A lot of this stuff in philosophy I've gotten into just for Christian apologetics sake, and just pure interest. Like, there's no particular reason for some of the stuff that I've gotten into. Um, because I don't always use a lot of this apologetic uh study with. I mean, I do with people here and there, but um, yeah. And I was reading that. Actually, I was reading part of Aristotle's book on my honeymoon, and it was which book was that? Politics? I think it was called Politics, I think. But yeah, he had that section where he was talking about um the difference between slaves and masters, and that's a very common Greek thought too. People that ruled society were those that were obviously smarter, where and they were intellectually fit and basically determined for that position, where slaves actually Slaves were slaves because they were built for doing work. That's what Aristotle said. Uh, I didn't say that. Basically said, yeah, you're a slave by nature. Look at you, you're big, and you can withstand uh, a lot of tough manual labor. But look at this guy over here. He's kind of scrawny and he has a big head, and he's kind of a nerd. So he should run the world. He should run. He should be in charge of logistics and engineering. Because surely, if you put him in a field, he'll die in a day. So, kind of an interesting thought. Interesting thought. Yeah, I mean that there's definitely truth to some of this for sure. There are certain people that you definitely would not send to war. And there are certain people who have certain genes, um, certain personalities that are basically designed for war. There are some people that are just uh, automatically that way. Um, so there are some people, inversely, that are definitely not made for war, that are made for intellectual pursuits. Um, yeah, that's a real thing. There's no doubt about that. This is where we come back to personality, uh, and other factors, obviously. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because sometimes those guys have stories to tell, and their stories are kind of where they used to be soft. Like I know David Goggins talks about that all the time, where he was fat and out of shape and depressed and uh, eating a bunch of ice cream on his couch until he watched a you know um, infomercial talking about, or not infomercial, but a commercial um, of, I think what was he, the Navy? No, he was Marine. I can't remember, but he was watching a commercial like that, and he kind of developed into what you see today. But you got to have some of that in you. You can't just have nothing, nothing at all, and then turn into that. That doesn't happen. It's like it just doesn't really happen that way. But I think I might get off here. My phone's starting to go, and I need to eat. So, but yeah, just reach out to me, brother. We could always talk. I'm down.